Hello everyone, welcome back to Shining Empathy. I'm Joel. Long time no see. A little bit of a stop recording, start recording kind of day because this came at the same time as my other deck, my Angel Reading cards. And I'm pretty sure I know what this is. I only ordered two anyway, so we're gonna open it up and have a look. I have scissors this time. Oops, smarter, we learn. Okay, so Oracle of the Angels by Mario Duguay. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, I think I've seen this deck on shelves before. I don't know why it didn't speak to me. It wasn't until I was watching a review of this and saw the images and was just like kind of blown away at the color, the angels, the kind of light being sort of feel to it. Yeah, there was just so much that really resonated. So I was really in awe that I hadn't gravitated to this deck before. Anyway, so we're just gonna kind of get right to it. And again, it's not going to be much of a review, so much as just a first impression. Now this deck came from Amazon. A little slice there. And this might be the last unboxing video I do for a while. I don't habitually buy lots and lots of cards. I think in total now I might have 8 or 9 decks. And that's more than enough. I don't use most of them. So we're just gonna, unless something really, really speaks to me. But yeah, this will probably be the last unboxing video I do for a while. So, okay, Blue Angel Publishing. I don't know if I've ever had a deck from these guys before, but I do love a good sturdy box because I like to keep my cards as fresh looking as possible. They start to wear a little bit, and that's, kind of the love coming through. You're obviously using your cards, so it's, kind of a good sign, right? But I do like them to, especially if they're a card that I want to keep reading for a long, long time. And once you've got a new deck of cards, like you can go out, like, something damaged about them, you can go out and get another deck of cards that's the exact same deck, but you gotta almost reform that connection with them all over again. I find you gotta kind of get yourself back on them. So let's just take that off there. Oh, and like one of the things that I've generally gravitated towards decks that are very colorful and often have a very feminine quality to them. But I like decks that are kind of softer. The tarot was very linear and had I found a very masculine energy about it in general. Even like the Queen cards and cards that would typically have more feminine aspects in them, the overall feel of the deck just had a very masculine feel about them. Most tarot decks anyway. Obviously the art on many different tarot decks is different, but the thing I do love about this particular deck is that it actually does have a very strong masculine feel, which is just so different from a lot of the other decks I have. So I'm going to show you the back of the cards. Oh, they have a really nice thick feel. Oh, I like that. Oh, it's because they're they're actually stuck together. I think I actually made some comments in my last video about cards that potentially get stuck together when you first buy them. There's no coating on the outside though, so I don't think I have to worry about any rippage. But yeah, so you can kind of see the sword there. It's just very, very Archangel Michael protection. Just got a very safe feeling about it. It's also a sort of light, so there's a lot of energy, a lot of divine kind of love feeling there. And each card, as you can see, has the text at the bottom, the keywords of the phrase, and a number beside it as well. I'm just gonna start going through them. Actually, before I really get into those, though, it does come with a little book. Illuminati. It's not that thick. It's a pretty thin little book. Let me see here. Oh, it comes with spreads. I like a book that comes with spreads. Yeah, so this is pretty standard. Just comes with a little black and white image of the card there, and then the information on the card. There's actually not a whole lot of information on the cards. There's actually one card per page, which explains why the book is so thin. Most decks probably have at least one card for every 2 pages, but there's also, I don't think, a whole lot of information about the inspiration of the deck. No, there really isn't. Anyway, so for me that's a little disappointing. I like nice big books with lots of information about why the deck was made, inspiration for it, lots of information on the images, like what the artist intended and what the author intended. Oh, by the way, the artist, I can find here. About the art. Okay, so Mario Duguay is actually the artist as well. Awesome. It's kind of rare that I find a deck where the artist and the author are the same. Very often the author has to seek out an artist just because they have the idea, but they don't necessarily have the artistic know-how or experience to really pull off what they want. So very cool. This is completely his deck. Let's just start thumbing through these here. Now, one of the things I really like about this deck is that, yes, it has the angelic beings on them, which for me, just angelic beings are just representational and symbolic of higher energy, higher frequencies, because I think very much in terms of vibration. They have a love, freedom, protection aspect to them, healing. But what I really love about this card is that paired with it is kind of this cosmic vibe. You got the planets all up at the top there. This deck got a little bit spacey and really centered on consciousness. So, and this card's actually called Higher Consciousness. I'm actually going to have to flex the cards here a little bit. Yeah, I hear that pop as they unstick. It's they are a little bit stuck together. Not too bad though. Let's see here. Ooh, here and now. I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with, is just being present. And I do enjoy when we've got a card that will call that out and just draw attention to the present moment. Be here, be now. Be this moment. And it too has that kind of center on like consciousness. Not, I don't think there's any angelic images on here, but again, it has the cosmos, galaxies, and spirals in the background. Oh, releasing. There's just a great vibe in the art on these cards. It doesn't. They look like they're hand drawn. I would put money on them being hand drawn or hand painted. A lot of decks now tend to go the digital route, which is cool. It's I'm gonna use this word again, modern, and it's of the now. But I think maybe a lot of artists are just sort of reaching back and bringing a little bit of the classic feeling of the hand touch to it, of literally just putting paint to canvas kind of thing. Ooh, harmony, this is kind of like a Buddha in Nirvana sort of feel to it. Power, this is again very Archangel Michael. Sort of giving me a He-Man vibe though. For the power of Grayskull. Any of you 80s kids out there will get that. Ooh, I am creator. Oh, I really dig that. So, I mean, it's funny, I should be really into this card right now because I think for a few videos now, creative powers and creativity has come up as a theme. So that's relatively interesting. Never alone, like that. Sorry, I'm just peeling the cards because they're stuck together in pairs for the most part, so I'm just kind of delicately pulling them apart as I go. Kind of, this one's called Awareness, and it's sort of this mix of cosmic and nature. I dig that. So even though there's kind of like a masculine sort of feeling on the front, I would say, actually, especially from things like this, growing here, it's actually got a really good balance to it of masculine and feminine, which is ideal. You don't necessarily want an extreme of anything in your deck, in my opinion. At least not for me. I just like balance. Learning. Oh, joy. Oh, doesn't she just look happy? Dancing through a little water garden there. That'd just be lovely. The eternal light of love. So yeah, my biggest complaint with these cards is just they're a little stuck together, but not in any way that they are ripping anything off of each other. They're just a little tacky around the edges where they've been sawed and cut. Ooh, awakening. And again, that's got this consciousness kind of vibe to it, like the awakening of consciousness, of awareness. Ooh, energy. Just like drawing down energy, almost like drawing down the energy of a full moon or something. It's quite powerful. And I think I'm just going to quickly pass through the rest of the deck here because I think you guys got an idea of what these images have in store. I also don't like to give away all the images. Who doesn't like a little surprise in their life? Ooh, transformation. I dig this card. I personally enjoy a bit of transformation, self-transformation. I'm not big on stagnant kind of feelings and vibes. I like to, like I said, I have a hard time with being and just staying. So I dig change and motion. So I do dig this. I also just dig the idea of evolution from one state of being to another. Oh, and we have the card that is featured on the front. I don't think all decks do this, but because sometimes the back art is just its own. But in this deck, it is actually the representation of strength. And doesn't it just embody strength? Literally a sword going down into pillars of crystals. And I think that's about it. Yep, we're gonna leave it at that. So again, I'm looking forward to getting my hands dirty with these and testing them out on my favorite spreads. I should say my favorite spread. It's the one that determines whether or not I'm really probably going to even use the cards for the most part, unless I find another use for them. As an example, I got a Dorian Virtue deck, the Indigo Angels deck, and I'll do a review on them, but I have had a really hard time connecting with them, and I don't quite know why. I dig the imagery. I dig the messages on them. I haven't been able to make them work in spreads. I put them in a spread and it's like I'm just blank. So there are just certain cards that have that intuitive power with me that I can click into, and it works, and some don't. So without reading the book, we're just gonna set the intention with these cards. We're gonna do a quick little reading for you. Wouldn't it be interesting if the creative one came up, because that has been such a theme. So we'll see what happens here. Let this be a message for anyone who's viewing this, connect with it. Oop, this one wanted to pop out. All right, the eternal light of love. I think this card just sort of serves as a reminder that we are all light, we are all love, we all come from that same source, and that when we are feeling maybe weak, we can always draw on that light and that source, because that is our essence, is who and what we are at our core. The note of eternal there also lets us know that we are infinite and eternal beings. So it's like a reminder to the self that even though this life may be short, that as eternal beings, our journey certainly doesn't end here, and we are here to learn and to shine and to love. And that's my intuitive read on that card. What the book might say, well, maybe a different thing, but that's what I got on it. Be interesting to see it in a spread and to see it in its place. All right, so that is that. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing / review / first impressions of this deck. If you liked this video, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shining Empathy. And I'm looking forward to doing more of these in the future, more deck reviews. I certainly have other decks to review. They won't be unboxing, but there are other decks I'm going to review, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, love and light to you all. Bye for now.